The origin of the Backrooms traces back to a single post on the internet's message board 4chan in May 2019, which tapped into the eerie concept of liminal space, transitional empty spaces that feel unnervingly familiar yet completely off. An anonymous user on 4chan's paranormal board starting a thread asking users to share cursed images that just felt off. Among the replies, someone posted a slightly blurry, Dutch-angled photograph showing a vast, empty office room with sickly yellow wallpaper, damp carpeting, and buzzing fluorescent lights. 2 days later, on May 14, another anonymous user replied to the image with a short paragraph of text that instantly birthed the creepypasta. If you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the Backrooms, where it's nothing but a sting of old, moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has hurt you. No clip came from the gaming terminology no clipping, which means the player accidentally glitched through a solid wall or floor and fell into a void outside the map. The concept of entering a never-ending labyrinth with some ominous entity looming somewhere was unnerving, and this blew up with the online community expanding the lore with a dedicated wiki fan page, prompting artists and content creators to contribute to a definitive universe. We have talented YouTube creators like Frag2 realizing a horror backroom scenario with entities actually bathing in the corners. I see my kids watching their favorite Roblox game streamers doing customized maps in the form of the Backrooms sufficiently intrigued game developers to create a full-on atmosphere when one had been entrapped in the Backrooms. Such examples included Escape the Backrooms from Fancy Games and the Backrooms 1998 by Steel Creel Studio. Backrooms also inspired the game Dream Core, which captured the essence of the dreariness in a seemingly sterile environment. Artists also used Blender Creation Suite and Unreal Engine to work on their own version of liminal spaces, which have been either inspired by the Backrooms or inspired the online community to add into the lore of the Backrooms. New York-based visual artist Jared Pike is a prime example with his famous pool room creations. There was another famous artist and storyteller who was also overawed by the possibilities of the Backrooms, and using Blender created a series of photorealistic short videos which he posted in his YouTube channel when he was merely 16 years old. The channel name is Kane Pixels and the young creator name is Kane Parsons. Parsons showed that he was not a one-hit wonder when he followed up his popular Backroom series with the oldest view, an unnerving exploration of an abandoned shopping mall where the only entrance was a long underground staircase in the desolate spot. His videos also blurred the line of whether it's real or fabricated, and was featured in many channels that highlighted paranormal videos. Parsons' videos consistently racked up millions of views, and it did not go unnoticed by Hollywood studios. In 2026, Atomic Monster and 21 Labs Entertainment produced a full-length feature-filmed adaptation of Parsons' Backrooms distributed by A24. Parsons, barely 21 years old now, fulfilled his dream as a full-fledged film director for a movie that grossed an impressive $380 million in a year that saw himself and Kari Barker, another YouTube content creator, telling the coffers in the big studios that there were talents beyond the conventional route. Clark, an alcoholic and jaded furniture store owner, had been chased out of his own house by his wife and had to live in his store showroom where there was no lack of beds for him to sleep in. As if it was not daunting enough to sleep in that vast showroom in a time when looters can easily intrude to the store at a whim, Clark had to deal with flickering lights, which he naturally would look at the breaker box in the basement. With red flags in alarming state, Clark found himself, as we said earlier, no clipping into another zone through a solid wall. It was no Narnia at the back of a closet, but strange space with many turns into different subspaces filled with furnitures and other paraphernalia. Clark had entered the Backrooms within his own store, through a negligible wall he had likely seen on a daily basis for years. Curiosity took over as he saw belongings of someone we had seen in the prologue who had met a tragic end in a very effective jump scare sequence. Not long after, Clark would be running for his own life with an unseen threat chasing after him. By sheer luck, he managed to find the same portal to return to his own world. On subsequent days of revisiting these backrooms, he realized that this was not his imagination. He knew he had to tell somebody about it, and it was his therapist Mary who had been helping him through his divorce and other issues. Mary, naturally finding Clark's claim to be absurd, leading to our field architect to enlist the help of his assistant store manager and her boyfriend who had been helping him to film those gaudy, cheap 1980s brick and mortar store advertisements to document the evidence of the backrooms. With Clark directing traffic in a place he had been before yet felt so foreign every single time, with so much more spaces he had yet to explore, his staff Kat was understandably apprehensive while her boyfriend Bobby was gung-ho with this new expedition. As the trio went deeper with their exploration and filming, they would be reaching a point of no return for them. We do not know how long time had passed, but Mary got a cryptic message from Clark, prompting her to look for him in the store, culminating to the terror she would receive in the backrooms. It would be a tall order if the narrative Parsons and writer Will Sudik would spin to immerse the audience in to be in the mind-bending format of the backrooms games and videos. Like in another game-adapted movie recently, Iron Lung, it could work as a single protagonist perspective, but that would be risky even if you have a talented actor like Chiwetel Ejiofor, whom I enjoyed watching. Kane Pixel's Backrooms videos work best as short, unsettling clips and in a serial fashion. I don't think it translates well for a movie that is 110 minutes long. Therefore, having a straight narrative with a standard 3-act structure with characters' backstory and motives worked a splendor. Even though the things happening in the zone was going to mess with your minds, it was the best decision for Kane Parsons. Clark's stories was very easy to sympathize with, giving up his dream to fulfill that of his partner, although he kept saying he was being owed for every single thing he had given up. I find Clark's journey to mirror Ejiofor's character in Doctor Strange with Mordor, and both Mordor and Clark were complex characters who felt maligned and therefore being antagonized by the audience. The English actor first caught my eyes in Stephen Frears' Dirty Pretty Thing about sex trafficking in London. I watched it for Audrey Tautou and stayed for Ejiofor. After that, the versatile thespian can be seen in all types of movie, from Alfonso Cuarón's Children of Men, Roland Emmerich's 2012, to Ridley Scott's American Gangster, and he really showed his acting prowess in Steve McQueen's 12 Years a Slave. Therefore, going into Backrooms, seeing Ejiofor's name in the cast meant that at the very least, I had his acting to bank upon. The divergence in his character in the climatic end worked splendidly, and he also showed his goofiness with the Captain Clark's persona. Playing opposite Ejiofor is Norwegian actress Renate Reinsve, who continued a very Norwegian feel in my reviews in this channel of late. A muse for director Joachim Trier, Reinsve played Mary, who was burdened with issues with her mother since her childhood, which amplified inside the backrooms, and Reinsve was like a duck taking to water in this role. He played it so pensive when dealing with Clark's weekly therapy, but I enjoyed their conversation, which repeated twice under very different circumstances. Mary was unfortunate to be embroiled into the void that her patient had fallen into, and at many instances she could have lost her life, but in the end, it might not be the worst thing if she did lose her life. The Backrooms have to be a character on its own. I simply love the 1980s and early 1990s sensibilities with the furniture Clark was selling, to the gadgets on display in this movie. Somehow old school furniture, best if it was under plastic wraps because your mother wanted it, make things more impactful than modern objects. I know the original concept of the Backrooms was the never-ending office space with the carpeted floor, fluorescent light tubes on false ceiling, and the signature yellow wallpaper like a David Lynchian nightmare. But what Parsons gave us was more intriguing. From the clusters of furniture stacked in weird manners, to a mountain of dirty laundry, to even a suburban neighborhood within the confines of the Backrooms, I could spend hours going through the spaces, which I really should not be doing if I was in the real Backrooms. The part which looked like an MC Escher illusion art came to life, or if the moving staircases in Hogwarts, but set in a school where the Breakfast Club was in detention, for me was insensibly captivating that I might have overlooked Mary in duress. There was this one scene which showed the transition of Mary's old house in the backrooms over a period of time. Somehow it got me good. The scary entity that the movie sold upon was the giant mutated Captain Clark, played by former basketball player Robert Bobrovsky, who had to put his lengthy frame to good use, especially in horror films, straight after playing the offspring hybrid in Alien Romulus. With the wooden leg, Parsons was able to use the signature sound of the chase to keep the tension even if the creature was off-screen. There were other scary inhabitants which we had seen being charming with Clark with their deformed faces. The way the female one scampering and first appeared behind the Christmas tree was enough to freak me out. Mark Duplass played a staff of the company that was doing surveillance of these backrooms portals, which helped to tell the audience these things just happened without rhyme nor reason, but there were ways to keep things under control. Yet people like Clark's were more like guinea pigs for their experiments before these personnel in hazmat suits, who would not look out of place in Monster Inc., would come to try save them if they wanted to. There was that open-endedness which felt convenient for sequel, and looking at the success of the movie, I would not bet against it. I really did not know what to expect going to a movie based on a 4chan creepypasta turned popular YouTube video short series, but the vision of director Kane Parsons, with the competent screenplay from Will Sudik and solid performance from Ejiofor and Rancif, made Backrooms a memorable film among a year filled with notable horror flicks. Backrooms is an 8.5 out of 10 for me. I heard that A24 is taking down content about the Backrooms. Hope they do not take down this movie review from a negligible channel like mine. Before they do so, please help me by clicking a like and share it if you can. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not. When I talked about the Norwegian influences in my horror movie reviews of late, I did a review of Passenger from Norwegian director Andre Overdals, together with Black Box from director Steve Quill. We saw Clark having a plan to maneuver inside the backrooms which backfired. What plan would you devise so that you can survive the place? Or like they say, once you check in, you can never check out.